Welcome, Rick.
Tomorrow, 32 years ago, my brother died in a car crash. It was his fault, his mistake. He did not have a system which protected him. 7 years later, I was in bed at home with my girlfriend Stella. She's now my wife and the mother of our beloved children, Maria and Paul. On a Sunday evening, the telephone rings while we were in bed, and I said, no, I don't pick it up. I don't want to. We did not have cell phones at that day, and the telephone rang a second time. And I said, it's my day off. I don't pick it up. After the fifth time the telephone rang, I decided I have to pick it up. Something must have happened. 7 years after we lost my brother, my sister's on the phone. She's crying, she's laughing at the same time after having tried 5 times to get me on the phone. And I said, Monica, what happened? What's the matter with you? And she said, you cannot possibly imagine how happy I am to hear your voice right now. And I said, but why? And she said, an airplane has crashed a couple of hours ago. And I said, Monica, I'm 23 years old. I'm flying a Boeing 767 as a co-pilot for Lauda. And not every airplane which comes down is an airplane of Lauda. We only have 2 767s. And she said, switch on the TV, look at it. And then I said, where should it have happened? And she said, in Bangkok. And then it was very silent on the phone, because I recalled that I was on the phone with her a couple of days ago. And I said, bye-bye, Monica. I'm flying to Bangkok on Thursday, and I will be back on Sunday night. It was the Sunday. But I was not on board. I did not get the flight. I didn't get it assigned. Somebody else did. And at that day, safety became paramount, because I knew I lost friends in the airline in an airplane crash. I lost a brother in a car crash. What's the reason why things go wrong? On that airplane, the pilots didn't do anything wrong. The engineers did. And engineers are humans. And they did not know how an airplane behaves at that altitude when a thrust reverser just suddenly extends and makes the airplane unflyable. What we learned in the last 25 years is that engineering is based on human experience, human knowledge. Flying airplanes is based on human knowledge, human intelligence. But we also realized that we make mistakes, everybody of us, every day. And I would like to ask you, who, during the last day, has made a mistake, an error? Raise your hands. Quite everybody, thank you. Quite everybody makes a mistake. And it is the responsibility of safe systems, of safe organizations, to make this human imperfection not having a consequence. All modern cars have impact protection, have airbags, have a system where the truck will not kill the truck driver with the next years. That's a law. The accident my brother had will not happen. So the question is, what can we do? What can you do for yourself? First of all, we have aviation as a system, and aviation itself, that's my office. It's worth about $100 million US. I get it in the morning, and they say, Hans, make yourself a nice day and bring it back safely. And I say, I will. And my system knows. I'm now working for Austrian Airlines. I'm captain on the A320. My system knows that everybody makes mistakes. The best pilot, the best doctor, the best engineer. But it's our common task to make sure that the mistake of one single person does not have a consequence which is doing harm and which is ruining lives. An error for you might be painful. It might ruin your career. It might do harm. So it's very wise to check what system has evolved the best way to guarantee safety. And as I might say, it's aviation actually, as one of the systems who are really doing a good job. This is our statistic at the moment. And I want to show you this point. This point, 2015, those are various safety levels in international aviation. We are talking about jet aircraft in commercial operation. And 2015 was the first year we achieved 0 casualties, 0 accidents in international airline operations, with the exception of 2 crashes, which were security and a sabotage problem. But talking safety, we achieved this. And how? And there are 2 interesting components. The first component is we have to escape complexity. When you think about your personal life, how many emails do you get per day? How many calendar duties do you have per day? How many things do you have to remember per day? What knowledge have you to administer per day? Everything is getting more complex rapidly. When we go to a company or to a hospital, we ask one very mean question when we're there and when we see how complicated things are managed. We ask, why are you doing it that way? And they say, we don't know. We always did it this way. Because when somebody wants to solve a problem, he very often adds one process step as a reserve for the other one. What we actually do is we multiply process steps. And every step you introduce to protect another step is one more chance of failure. We introduce checklists in hospitals, and we think people use checklists. People don't use checklists regularly. Checklists are not cool. Checklists, if you don't train them, are not an instrument of a professional. Checklist is something sometimes regarded as being, hey, I don't need it. I know what I'm doing. Not everybody remembers everything what is important all the time. And the other thing is, since the 1st of October 2016, since 1 month, European aviation regulations send out a regulation, which is compulsory. If a flight crew on a simulator or on a check flight is not behaving as we expect them to behave, international norms of non-technical skills, of very well team behavior, of structured decision making, of good leadership, if they do not behave that way, they might fail the check flight, whereas they provided excellent technical skills. So what we do is, we know humans are the subject that needs to be trained, that needs to be fascinated for tools who guarantee safety in their own interest, in their own responsibility, for our system, for our organization, and for yourself. And if you think, as I might see, you're not very convinced that you make mistakes all the time, I can prove it. I want you to use the tools and to think about aviation as a system has developed this set of tools. It's free to use. You just need to take it and ask what they are doing. When you look at this picture and you have a glance across it, is that picture appearing as if it's moving, or is it standing still? You can take a choice. If it is moving, it's the one thing, then you see it as you should see it, but it's wrong because the picture is not moving. If you don't see it moving, you're perfectly correct, but you might have a medical problem. You can take a choice now. But the point in this picture is, it's a very simple demonstration of human factors. We are not constructed for what we are actually doing. This picture is evolving in your brain with the information your eyes present. And if you are not aware that your brain is cheating on you, if it gets a prepared trap, then you won't succeed. Bear that in mind for our safety. When you fly with us, when you go to a hospital, we have a lot to achieve, and we have to escape this bloody complexity, which is making everything much more difficult than it could be. Thank you.